So if you saw this video, you will know that we worked in cooperation with BeaverBlitz.com to make it. Well, that video did pretty well, so we were invited down to Corvallis to observe some practices of the Beavers' fall football camp. It was an awesome experience being down there, and although we were only allowed to film the warm-ups of the practices, it was still really cool to be there. Also, some quick plugs if you did miss this video, BeaverBlitz.com is your #1 stop for all things Oregon State athletics. They have breaking news, analysis, player interviews, and much more. Also, make sure to check them out on Twitter and their brand new TikTok account where Ben and I will be posting. It's the TikTok content that Beaver fans didn't know they needed. A little background on the Beavs. They went 7-6 overall last year, going 5-4 in conference play and falling to Utah State in the LA Bowl. They went 6-0 at Reser Stadium, including an impressive win over eventual Pac-12 champion Utah, but they struggled heavily on the road, going 1-5 and beating only USC. Despite that, the season was a solid step forward for the Beavers, making their first bowl game since 2013. They're going to look to improve on 2021, and they actually received a few votes in the first round of the coaches poll. And honestly, if they can win their first 3 games, that conference opener against USC in Reser Stadium, that could be a ranked matchup. So with all that out the way, what was our impressions of the team? Well, there's some good and there's some bad. Let's get the bad stuff out the way first. I'm not supremely confident in who they have at quarterback. Chance Nolan is going to be the starter, and while his numbers overall last year were fine, they were okay, if you look at his game-by-game performances, they're kind of all over the place. Sometimes he was great, other times he was a bit rickety, and he looked like that at fall camp. There was one series of 11-on-11s where Chance threw 2 absolutely pin-perfect long passes that unfortunately both of his receivers dropped, but that was not on him because they were absolutely incredible passes. And then a few plays later, he went deep again and underthrew it by 10 yards and it got intercepted. I don't think Chance Nolan is at risk of losing his job. He has by far the most experience and he has absolutely looked the best of all the quarterbacks, but I don't see him throwing the Beavers to a lot of victories. If he can just be a solid game manager, not turn the ball over, maybe throw 1.5 to 2 touchdowns a game, I think the Beavers will be all right. Secondly is the receiving core. The receiving core for the Beavers, from what I observed, is just okay. They're not amazing, they're not terrible, they're kind of just average. They do have some bright spots like Trayshawn Harrison and tight end Luke Musgrave, but they lack depth in the receiving core. Top receiver from 2021, Trevon Bradford, is gone, and observing the team, I felt like there were a lot of drops on very catchable passes. Overall, I don't see the passing game being a strength in this team. That's gonna be... The running back core was the biggest takeaway for me from my short time at fall camp. When I first got down there, Angie told me she thought Oregon State's running back core was head and shoulders better than Oregon's, and I was skeptical at first, but boy, I'm not sure now, because the Beavers have got some really solid running backs. There's no superstar among the group, but they make up for that by legit going 5 players deep, and that's even with last year's leading rusher BJ Baylor off to the NFL. Returning backs to Sean Fenwick and Trey Lowe accounted for more than 800 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground last year, while incoming transfer Jam Griffin from Georgia Tech, he's going to provide additional depth as well. And then there's Damian Martinez. A true freshman from Louisville, Texas, Martinez is going to be a star for the Beavers in the future. This kid popped huge for me, including ripping off an 80-yard touchdown run in 11-on-11s. I don't know if he's going to be the starter by the end of the season like Angie does, but he's going to get plenty of carries and he's going to get a lot of yards. If the Beavers have success on offense this year, it's going to be because they ran the ball down other teams' throats. Secondly is the defense. The defense for the Beavers, it should be much improved this year, especially their secondary. With all Pac-12 performers like Kitten Oladapo, Alex Austin, Alton Julian, and Jaden Grant, the secondary is definitely the strength of the Oregon State defense. And you know what? The rest of the defense is pretty damn good too. Omar Spates is going to be a beast in the middle of the defense. The D-line is definitely the weakest unit. Isaac Hodgins is seen as the best returning defensive lineman, but he struggled to stay healthy over the past couple years. Even with the suspect defensive line, the defense was still good enough to allow 0 offensive touchdowns in a scrimmage where they ran over 100 plays. So final thoughts. This Beaver team is going to be a trap game for the 3 teams most agreeable challenge for the Pac-12 championship. And I think they're going to beat one of them. If they can just clean up their act on the road, I could see them getting between 7 and 9 wins. So I'm going to be lame and say they manage 8 wins and a Sun Bowl appearance. God, I miss college football. And that's the video. Huge thanks to Beaver Blitz for allowing us to attend fall camp. It was a great experience. What are you expecting from the Beavers this year? Let us know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like, really helps out the channel. And don't forget to subscribe to Synthetic Sports.